Alright, hey guys, this is New Caliber here. Back today with my first impressions of the final fan festival keynote for Shadowbringers. Just got back, watched it probably, I don't know, say 3 hours ago. Let it settle in, and I figured I'd just go through my thoughts on everything was presented. Um, alright, let's get first thing out of the way. I haven't seen anything except for the comments on the live stream. So I can probably already guess how people feel about certain things. My own personal thoughts. Overall, I would say this FanFest keynote had the least amount of hype. I'm not sure if that's because of the contents or if while I was watching it, it was because the crowd itself didn't seem that into it. That could just be a Japanese cultural thing. I'm not 100% sure. But if you compare that to the excitement and the screams of EU and NA, it was very reserved and very quiet compared. So it definitely brought down the hype. To go with that, it starting 15 minutes late probably also didn't help its cause. So with that, I'm here to go through the slides thanks to Reddit user Chilied. Go over to Reddit, give him a thumbs up, gold, whatever. He went through a lot of effort to compile all this. So here's this. First things first. The trailer was the first thing we saw, the full trailer. That started off really strong. The music is still on point for the trailer. All the visuals, seeing that city at the base of the Crystal Tower and then seeing the Crystal Tower being prominent, I've got to get a huge amount of props to the speakers network. Lukiel, Rolo, and Mila. I don't know if they're the ones who came up with that theory or if they were just the ones who were popularizing it. But kudos to them. That was really well thought out. So after the trailer, we find out we are not going to Garlemald. 5.0 Shadowbringers will be taking place on the first shard that is being overrun with light, where the Warriors of Darkness came from, where Manthilia is supposed to be. So I'm really excited about that. I like this a lot more than the Garlemald stuff. I think at this point, me personally, I did not want an entire expansion featuring Magitech. We found Norvrant is the city or area that remains that has not been overrun with light. And so in order to combat the light, we will become Warriors of Darkness. And let's see, this right here is going to be a piece of our central hub at the base of the Crystal Tower. And I've noticed it looks really similar to one of the cutscenes or promotion things. I don't know what it was exactly from 1.0, that guild leave area during 1.0. So I'm glad that they reused that. Showing the second part coming out the 26th. Really looking forward to that. And then we get what chat I guess was going probably closer to 60-40 on. Dancer was revealed as a ranged DPS. I guess I should give a disclaimer. I do not play ranged DPS. I was sort of meh on Dancer. I wasn't for it. I wasn't against it. I accepted Dancer was going to be there. It's not a job that's I have any ties personally to. So in the end, it's whatever to me. If it was a healer, I was going to play Dancer just to get... I always level cap every magic class in 14. That's just something that I've always done. So it would have just been another healer that I would have capped and then probably went back to Scholar White Mage, depending on how it played. As a ranged DPS, I probably won't even unlock it. To be completely honest, I will probably read up on its class story, its job story, and that'll be the end of it. Thinking back, we were never all hype regarding Dancer as a healer was community made. But at the same time, with this reveal, it will make it 6 years between healer jobs. And I don't know. I doubt healer mains are really ecstatic about that. But I also understand. I don't agree with chat's idea during the thing of grouping all DPS together. There's melee DPS, casters, and healers. And ranged. Ranged only had Bard and Machinist. So I'm glad that since it wasn't a healer, for those people who wanted to play healer, I'm glad it was another category that only had 2 slots. So that's all I'll say on that. The art looks amazing. The depiction of the Dancer in the trailer was good. I liked how they're not sticking with chakrams. They're going with all types of throwing weapons. And I think that's all I'll say on that. And they talked about New Game Plus, World Visit, the restoration of Ishgard. They said this was going to be more of a... It wasn't going to be just a turn in, you're done type deal. It's going to be a continuous story, so I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going to keep pushing to try to finish getting all crafters up to level cap, before Shadowbringers drops. And let's see, massive new areas. I don't know what this actually shows of that. We got the town that was our central hub, which is going to be at the base of the Crystal Tower. And we also got, I don't know how you'd pronounce this, Alumor, which is a very destroyed sort of Limsa Lominsa party town type deal, where they explained as since the Flood of Light is coming, they know their time's up, so they've resigned themselves to their fate and are just going to live in perpetual party until the end comes. Which is the bottom of it, the bottom of this area, the slums, somewhere around there or in the underground, was where Thancred and Minfilia was in the trailer. When they did the walkthrough through this area, it looked very brown, very samey. I'm sure it will grow on me, but it is definitely my least favorite of the walkthroughs / areas that they showed. And this is a background image of the town at the base of the tower. And we got our first zone name, or one of the first zone name of the keynote, Lakeland, which is basically the first version of Mordona. There's a huge lake. There was no Battle of Silvertear. Bright colors, right next to the Crystal Tower. It just looked amazing. Let's see, we got here. This was during the trailer. The fat cats, quite literally, are the ones living it up in Party Laminsa, I guess is what I'll call it. And then, contention point number 2, we got the Hrothgar. Confirming that Hrothgar and Viera are gender locked. This is the one I do not agree with. I have no intention of Fantasiaing. I will not change races. Even if we had gotten male and female Hrothgar, I would not have race changed. If we got male and female Viera, I would not have race changed. I was going to stay as my Elizin, my giraffe boy. I had no intention of race changing. But to gender lock something, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way. I don't really like the lore reason saying that, oh, they're rare doesn't really sound good to me for the male Viera, because I mean, you're the Warrior of Light, you're supposed to be special. The Hydaelyn's Blessing could fall to anyone, so even if it's rare, it could fall to a male Viera. So that's why this is the one thing I'm not huge on. Plus, the Hrothgar models that they showed, I hope they're better in-game. I think we've got... See, that looks alright. I don't know, just the reskin of the Rogadin, it didn't really do it for me. But I guess that'll be enough of the negativity. I wish they didn't save... And I'm trying to think of how I would feel if there wasn't that French leak. I feel like I would feel worse if it was just springed out of nowhere. By the way, here's a new race. We're giving you basically a limited race instead of a limited job. It's a limited race instead of doing a complete one. And with this, also, just one final point on this. What they've done is made it so that from now on, they will continually be asked the question, can we have male Viera? Can we have female Hrothgar? They have made their own worst nightmare. So, I don't know, they could be playing the long game, where they've said they will not add new races, but they never said they would not complete races. So maybe 6.0, 7.0, who knows? They may go back and already have plans to fully realize this. Who's to say? But moving on, we learned that instead of Voidsent, we will be dealing with Sin Eaters in the first. Voidsent are from the 13th shard that has fallen completely to darkness. We are falling basically to the light, so Sin Eaters will be the big bads, including what was depicted loosely in the trailer, Innocence, which that just looks amazing. Okay, there's the slide talking about unique races. Challenging new dungeons, we should all know what that means. Well, I guess I'll see if that slides in here. If not, I'll talk about that later. So a few dungeon pictures. We have another outside dungeon, sort of reminiscent of, Hullbreaker Isle. And then I really like this one. When I saw this in the When I first saw this in the keynote, I was conflicted on it. Really bright, really cartoony, but we never get anything like this. And I'm hoping that this might be the first version of Moogle's King Mog or something, because this brightness and poppiness against us being Warriors of Darkness really gets me excited to go through and just tear stuff up. And then we have, I don't know, I think Koji was the one who said like a Sunken Temple of Karn type dungeon, which this is standard what we're used to. More about the trust, they didn't really go into detail. They did, however, add Minfilia over here as a trust, along with saying that more NPCs other than these will be available. I'm hoping we get some like maybe lower level, maybe like Hoary Boulder. Um, who else? Sid, Jesse, Nero. Just I want a huge list of major and minor characters to just try and get a huge selection of trust. But in the long run, I don't even know if I would use trust, to be honest. I like partying with other people. The new 8-man, they went and showed the original 3, and they brought us this teaser of Eden. I really like this. Not showing the boss or anything. The tease. This might have something to do with, I don't know, the mythology of Yggdrasil, the World Tree, or I know they said something about this raid will entail us restoring the other elements to the first, to fight back the light and try to get other elements out into the ether, I presume. Not 100% sure. I'm glad they're going to try and tie this in story-wise. It might not be MSQ relatable, but it will be on a big scale related to why we're there. So that'll get us away from Tournament Arc Omega into something related to what we're doing. Which also, going to the first brings a whole new picture in my mind to Yorha Dark Apocalypse, because this might not be something on us fighting against the Dark Apocalypse. This 24-man series might be us being the Dark Apocalypse. So I'm more excited for Yorha now more than ever with the news of going to the first. For the 8-man, we received word that Nomura-san is going to be a character designer and a boss designer. The character we got was Gaia, and they made specific mention of the hammer that she wields, saying that he drew it before realizing 14 didn't have a hammer. So I'm really hoping they do something special with her. Along with changes to from first to source, they showed us that names of the races are different between shards. So as you can see here, just general things. The one that I like the most is the Lalafell are dwarves, which are a beast tribe. So to throw even more crap on Lalas, they're not only evil on the source, they're beastmen on the first. So that's a really, I don't know if you'd call that like a meta joke or what you'd even call that, but that's a nice touch. And along with that they're building cities that only Lalafells will be able to enter due to height restrictions. Otherwise, you just have to look from the outside in. So as long as there's no like super amazing lore in there, I'm not really worried. I think that's just a cute little thing to do. Let's see, early access begins on the 28th. And that was it. Like, overall, I guess as I said before, this is definitely the least hype I've been after a fan festival, after watching, but I'm still looking forward to it more for story reasons now and content. Other more those things than jobs and races. The races thing. Well, I don't like what they're going. I don't like the way they're pushing this. Either way they went with it, it wasn't personally going to affect me. I was not going to participate in race changing. I feel for the people who wanted male Vieira, and for the people who were excited for Hrothgar, who wanted a race that was more animalistic, I guess, more beast-like. I'm happy for them. And for the dancer, at the end of the day, it is what it is. I'm glad it got to be range DPS over healer, or not. I wouldn't say no. That's the wrong way to phrase it. I'm glad it got range DPS if it couldn't be healer. And let's see, they made no mention of limited jobs, new ones, or upping Blue Mage, which is something I would have liked to hear. Other than that, I think it was pretty comprehensive. We got a date of sometime in mid-May for the battle system overhaul, like we did. That it'll be the long live letter that we got for Stormblood, which, thinking of that now, they really have to knock it out of the park for the 3 healers. If they're not going to have a new one, they've really got to solidify those battle styles and make them fun, maybe even more so than the DPS. I would personally prefer they look at healers first, then the tanks, and then they can go messing with the DPS. Because with the variety of DPS in this game, if they did something to your DPS you didn't like, while I would feel for you, at the same time, there's plenty of DPS to choose from. Tanks and healers, even with Gunbreaker, not so much. But I think with that, I don't have anything else to talk about. Huh. I'm looking. Oh, one more thing. During the trailer, they showed the man inside the Crystal Tower on the first, which once again I will credit speakers. Graha from the Crystal Tower series, his, I guess, version in the first. I don't know, just shoutouts to speakers. They were just amazing. But with that, I think that's going to be my first impressions, thoughts on the keynote. And I guess I'll look forward to the live letter when that stream comes out. I probably won't make a video on that. I usually don't make videos on live letters unless something crazy happens. But anyway, thanks for watching. Tell me what you think in the comments. Are you vehemently against these changes? Are you for any of these changes? Do you like the idea of gender locked? Well, never mind. I can't say many people. There might be a few, but I can't say a majority of people would be interested in gender locking things. But yeah, just tell me what your thoughts are in the comments. I'd be glad to read them. Alright, this has been New Caliber. Thanks for watching. Have a good day.